Hi everyone, welcome to this week's YouTube video. This one's all about and has been inspired by a client who asked me this week, how do you actually stay happy being a healer? So that's what it's kind of about. And healer can be a generic term. It's anybody who's offering any therapy, really, any assistance in support of another human being. I really believe that everybody's born with some sort of healing ability. It's just, if you like intuition or anything else, the more you practice something, the better you get at it. But the healing world is, you know, whether that's counseling or whether that's coaching people or being a healer or vibrational medicine or whatever it happens to be, requires some qualities of a person to enable them to stay in it the long term. Because we do have, I see it, for me, the happy side comes from the fact that I actually take it quite seriously. You wouldn't think so half the time, for the laughter in my room, but I think it's a real honour. I take it as a real honour, and amazing that, you know, people will come and share their innermost challenges, and we enter a space really where I feel we can provide a space of love to facilitate change. If somebody's coming to me, it's usually because they need to change from, they in their perception, they want to change from one place to another. And it's identifying what that is and enabling them with time and energy and ideas for them to make the changes in their own life that they choose to change for themselves. We just sort of provide the space to highlight the potentiality of that. So first of all, I think to stay happy as a healer is it's an honourable thing to do. So that's quite high on my agenda. Staying happy means, you know, you as a healer, as an individual, as a life coach, as whatever it is that you're going to call yourself, get the privilege of listening to many different stories, and some of them are really in a lot of pain, and people have been through the most epic proportions of trauma. And if you, as a therapist of some description or other, have been through similar journeys of that trauma that your client is bringing to you, you'll come from a different space. So I think one of the things that I would recommend people do is to make sure you get some therapy, some healing too. In my book, you know, if you're a healer, you go for some healing. If you're an acupuncturist, you get some acupuncture for yourself, so on and so forth. You walk your talk in that way. So you receive what it is that you're giving. So you you sort of work on yourself really, as to be as free and neutral a place as possible for others. There are other times as well that you might get overwhelmed by somebody else's story, or overwhelmed by the circumstances or whatever it needs to be. And I think that's, you know, a normal thing that happens in professional practice. You just put your hand up and go, wow, I need some help with this, and then there'll be a supervisor or somebody somewhere who can model a way through. So you go get your own help to stay happy. In this profession, go get your own help. You need some supervision, you need some something for yourself. It's a continual professional development. CPD, a lot of people talk about when they go on day courses here and there for that, but it's also on a very personal level. You know, I'm looked after by a brilliant, you know, homeopath, and I go for healing, and I immerse myself in the industry, if you like, that I'm actually working in. I live it. It's not just a job for me, it's actually a way of life, and that's very different. I think that's very different. So that's another way. And another one is try not to take yourself too seriously. You know, going back to the overwhelmment, we've set up a natural harmony centre here in Mid Wales, and the whole idea of doing that 12 years ago was to produce a place where we could put well-being plans together for people. And as somebody, I don't believe any one person is a panacea, so lots of people, you know, you might see somebody once or somebody a couple of times, and that whole soup of energy, that different ways of seeing to a challenge can often lead through to a wonderful breakthrough in ideas or energy shift or changes on some level or other that produce a happier client. So when I say don't take yourself too seriously, I mean, it's like understanding that you won't have, well, I don't have all the answers to everything by any stretch of the imagination. And to be happy in the role that I take on, I love to have really good professional people around me who are better than me at what they do completely and utterly, and they're experts in their field, so that when somebody comes and I think, oh wow, they might need some of this, that and the other help, oh, I know somebody who might be able to assist you in that area. So if you get happy about referring people on to other experts, I think that is definitely a way to stay happy yourself, because it feels like we're in a team, everybody's self-employed, but whether they're working with us at the Natural Harmony Centre or an hour's drive away or wherever people are, it doesn't matter. It's like that's your team wherever they actually are, or if somebody needs online help or any sort of access. It's just that we don't know it all. So make sure you're very clear about what your limitations are as well as your strengths. And as soon as my clients are coming into my areas of limitations, I know what I'm rubbish at. Or maybe have an area that I'm not interested in. Then I know some people who are brilliant at that and they love it and it's their passion. So that's great. Go see them about that. So I think that's another way of remaining happy within a healer's world, is to understand your strengths and your limitations, and include other people in your team who can, you know, help people better than we can, really, or better than I can anyway, that's for sure. So sharing your stories with a supervisor is really good, as we've mentioned before, and keeping complete and utter confidentiality. So anything that's sort of said in or discussed in my room is like, right, that's a real sacred place. So I can drop into a beautiful sacred place within that the walls of that room or wherever we happen to be. So people feel really relaxed and can trust who you are and what you're saying. And there's happiness there for the professional healer, because it's like, yeah, that's part of your honor code, that whatever is said stays there, and you can provide that trusting environment. It's a beautiful win-win situation that really feels good across the board. So that's another one. To stay happy in any profession where you're listening to lots of people with lots of challenges, one of the ways of really keeping yourself out of it, moving yourself aside, is to not take things personally. Now, this can take a while to cultivate, I'm sure, but that really helps. To not take whatever the client's talking about or interfacing with you, is to not to take it personally. If they are in deep distress, then keeping yourself out of it really does assist in keeping your happy mojo going, which is great. The other big one that comes up a lot in my courses and things is not getting massively attached to the outcome. We as healers are a provider of a loving energy. We take all that we have learned, all that we know, and we bring it into the room with a client. And we do the absolute best we can at that time. And it's actually coming away from that going, I did the best I possibly could. And not getting attached to an outcome of, well, if only a client had done this or they'd done that, or falling down into that trap where you feel you know better for someone than they know for themselves. Unless we've actually lived in someone else's skin and mind and body, we don't know what's best for them. But they will be able to make their decision. Enable people to make their own decisions from a good place within themselves, and that leads to a much happier place for your client, and therefore a much happier place for you. If you start, I see this sometimes, where if you start going down the road of going, yeah, but if they'd done what I suggested here, that wouldn't have happened, or if this had happened or the other, and people get themselves in knickers in a twist. They get a bit sort of confused about their energy, and therefore their energy gets into a confused state, and therefore they won't be as fluid and at ease when you're with your clients, and that comes across. And I don't think that leads to a very happy place for anybody. So it is one to cultivate and practice over time, because at first, when you first new out of the blocks, so to speak, you're really keen on making sure you can do your best and really, really assist people. And I think people come with a whole load of what they feel people should do, and that's called the shoulda, woulda, coulda club. You should have done this. I could have done that. I would have done this. That's investing a lot of your time in the past as well. And leaving very little for today's heart energy. So yeah, just be careful about joining the coulda, woulda, shoulda club. And yeah, stay in the now with all that you can be. Enter each and every session honorably. Do the best you can, and know that you are real human, fallible, and everything else that goes with it, but you're just going to do the best you possibly can. That means and go for the therapy that it is that you're involved in, so that you can keep yourself as clear, as light, as optimal a channel as you possibly can be. And yeah, hold love in your heart. And one of the beautiful things that helps me keep happy in what I do, and I've been doing it for must be 25 years now with the public, is it's like it's just looking for the goodness in humans. You know, looking for the goodness, looking for the greatness, looking for the soul, looking for the amazing in the person that you're with. I find it each and every day with people. However they appear, whatever they're coming with, however bad the situation might appear, I'm looking for the greatness in there. I'm aware it's there, and that's for me to find, and for me to show that person what it is inside of them that is so amazing that I can see or sense or know. Yeah, so that makes me really happy, and that gets me keeping on showing up here on this YouTube channel and to lots of different sessions and trainings throughout this facilitator of change and healer community. Okay, everyone, I hope that helps. Smiles are also really good. Share a smile. If you're feeling a bit overwhelmed or a bit miserable, look in the mirror and give yourself one. Yeah, give yourself a smile. That'll really help too. Okay, I wish you all well. Good luck with all your choices. Lots of love. Bye for now.